I think they've hit. Oh, good. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so we want to make sure that all of our members attending today are well informed on the issues that we are discussing. Heather will be sending you the link to the special FAQ page that we developed in order to answer basic questions regarding the certification and why we've called this meeting. So I think she's already put that into the chat a few times. So if you haven't had a chance to review this page before you ask any questions, please go check it out just to make sure that we haven't already answered the question, because we do want to try to wrap up by 12:45. We are hosting our professional development webinar, which is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. So we want to make sure we wrap up this meeting to give the next group the Zoom room. So in accordance with our bylaws, the special members meeting of the Professional Association of Volunteer Leaders Ontario is called to order. Following our bylaws, the notice of meeting was emailed to all members 30 days prior to today. In accordance with our bylaws, PAVRO requires 10% of our total membership to make quorum. We currently have 175 members in good standing, therefore we require 18 members in attendance and in proxy. I do believe everybody has been registering your name, your full name in the chat. So because we do need everybody's full names. So if you haven't done so, please do so now. Heather, can you confirm how many people are in attendance?
We have 35 people on the call, and I believe we have 10 proxy votes that were submitted ahead of today's meeting. So we certainly do meet quorum. And again, yes, please do pop your name into the chat. That will help us to make sure that we've got the quorum and that your names are included on the minutes. Thank you.
Okay. So since we have achieved quorum, we can officially call this special members meeting to order. Okay. So. Oh, there we go. So following best practices, we will adopt Robert's Rules of Order, number 11 edition, as our rules of order for this meeting. Please note that a motion must be made and seconded in order for us to discuss the motion. Once we have discussed the motion, or if there's no discussion or questions, then we put the motion to a general vote. You will see that we will be using poll questions for voting purposes. When there's an opportunity to vote for a motion, you will be asked to vote in favor, oppose, or abstain. Use your keyboard to choose the option you want. If you're having any technical difficulties, please vote in the chat feature. And I think we do have one person on the phone. So that person will, Heather, how are we? I missed that part, sorry. For those,
yes, I believe we do have 2 members that are on the telephone.
Okay.
So
I'm actually connecting because I'm able to go online now.
Okay,
I'm gonna
perfect. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else on the phone, Heather? I just want to make sure we know they know how to vote.
I don't see anyone who's exclusively on the phone. I do see those that are using the phone and using their computer. So okay. I believe everyone should have the ability to vote either using the polls or the chat feature.
Perfect. So to make a motion or to second a motion, please use the chat function and type I move or I second and include your full name. And again, we want to use the chat feature so that your motions are recorded and whoever's making the motion is recorded. Okay. Okay, so before we proceed to the formal part of our meeting, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the land on which we live and work. And I'm just going to have to move this. There we go. PAVRO recognizes that our work and the work of our members takes place on traditional Indigenous territories across Ontario. We recognize the ways in which those of us who are settlers have benefited from colonization and reflect on the attempted genocide of Indigenous people of Canada, which spans centuries. We call for the reconciliation of current injustices as well as those that have been carried out against Indigenous communities, which include but are not limited to broken treaty relationships. We commit to working towards creating a just, inclusive, and vibrant community for all. We encourage you to learn more about the traditional territories of the Indigenous peoples where you live, work, and play using tools like nativeland.ca. We also invite you to incorporate a land acknowledgement into your personal and or professional lives and have shared a sample template on our website. We wish to express gratitude to Mother Earth and for the resources we are using, and to honor all the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people who have been living on the land since before settlers arrived and continue to do so. We invite you to reflect upon this land acknowledgement, what it means to your personal story, and what the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to action and the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls calls for justice mean to you. This land acknowledgement is a living document that will be updated as we learn and grow. We welcome your feedback so that we can strengthen this acknowledgement as well as relationships with Indigenous people and communities. Thank you. So our proposed agenda is as presented on the slide. We will review the proposed resolutions and the associated rationale for the proposed resolutions, and then we can vote on each one in turn. So the first motion, I need a motion to approve the agenda. Can somebody make a motion? Just put it in the chat.
Christina Josp has moved to approve the agenda.
And do we have a seconder?
And we have Dean Black who has seconded that motion. Okay.
Now I'm going to launch the poll. And this will be a good test to make sure everybody can see the poll. Is it showing? I see people are voting, so that's fantastic. So this is an excellent test of our polling system. So okay. Numbers are going up. I've got 30 people who have voted. There's 38 on the call. Now I can't vote, so looks like
I have two votes in favor on the chat.
Okay.
If you're unable to use the poll feature, please type I vote in favor or in the chat. I mean, it will be counted.
In favor, opposed, or abstain.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So I think I'm going to end the poll now because we are highly in favor of adopting the agenda. And I'm going to share the results. So can everybody see we have 34 out of 34 people who voted in favor to approve the agenda. Okay, I'm going to stop the share now.
The minutes reflect that there are 36 who voted in favor, including the 2 who voted by chat.
Correct.
Okay. Let me see. I think I could just close this now. Okay. Okay, the motion has passed. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so the first resolution that we ask our membership to approve is that PAVRO partners with the Council for Certification in Volunteer Administration, which is the CCVA, in offering the Certification in Volunteer Administration, the CVA, to our membership. So as I mentioned before discussing this motion, I will review the rationale, after which I will ask a member to make the motion, and then I will ask for a seconder. We'll then open up the discussion, and then we'll vote using the poll feature. Okay. As our members know, facilitating and advocating for our members to be professionally certified is a key pillar of our mission as a professional association. PAVRO has offered a certification program, the CVRM, which stands for Certification in Volunteer Resources Management, to members since the year 2000. PAVRO's certification program was one of many in Canada developed and implemented in the absence of an international certification program. Now, interest in PAVRO's certification, the CVRM, and recertification has waned in recent years, while the number of holders of the international CVA has grown quite rapidly in Ontario over that same time. The situation called for a strategic review, and in 2021, we held a town hall and follow-up survey on certification. In both the town hall and the survey, we asked members if they were in favor, they were in support of PAVRO partnering with the CCVA, and 61% of respondents were in favor. However, 25% of respondents were in favor only if the CVRM was maintained or active CVRM designation was grandfathered into the CVA, which is how we arrived at the two resolutions that we're putting forward today. The CCVA administers an internationally recognized credential and is a member of the Institute for Credentialing Excellence. Aligning with the CCVA allows PAVRO to advocate more powerfully for the profession. Globally, there are well over 1,000 volunteer engagement practitioners who currently hold the CVA and over 80 in Ontario, compared to just over 40 active CVRM holders. In addition, the Canadian National Occupational Standards for Managed Volunteer Resources was consulted in the development of the CVA body of knowledge and competency framework. There is a strong Canadian fingerprint in the CVA framework. If PAVRO members ratify this membership, the CCVA is willing to offer all active PAVRO members a special and significant discount on the CVA exam for the next 3 exam periods, which would be this coming October, and then next year, April and October of next year. In addition, any current CVRM holders would be able to bypass the regular application process and simply pay for the exam. After the October 2023 exam period, members would be eligible for the regular member exam rate, which would be less than $350. It would be like $315 US. And the opportunity for the simplified application process for CVRM holders would end. Okay, so the next thing is that I need to have a motion to accept the first resolution as presented and a seconder, and then we will open the floor to discussion. Okay, so can I please, yes?
So I was gonna say, Dean Black has motioned to move this motion number 2. We are looking for a seconder. And Jean Pied has seconded.
Wonderful. I will now open the floor to any discussion. Are there any questions or concerns? Please put your comments or questions in the chat. Heather will facilitate this discussion, and if somebody has a lot to say, then it makes sense that we will let you unmute.
Jessica, taking the minutes here. Donna Jean-Pierre, can you please confirm in the chat that you are the seconder of that motion? Thank you.
Heather, have there been any? No. Okay.
Yeah, so Donna has confirmed that she is the seconder. Comments are that there's so far the comments are favorable in support of this motion. We will give another minute if anyone is typing before I think it's appropriate to call for the vote. Question, does this mean an exam is required? Yes, it does. So because this is not, we cannot grandfather in, this is an international process. Any PAVRO member, CVRM holder or otherwise, would need to write the exam to receive the CVA designation. As Alex mentioned, there is a significant fee reduction being offered for the next 3 exam periods. PAVRO is also prepared to begin offering study groups and supports to allow our members to be successful to write that exam.
I've unmuted myself. It's Magda, because I have a few things to say and I'm a very slow typer.
Oh, perfect, Magda, please.
Okay, I'll speak quickly. I can certainly support the move towards partnering with CVA. I do have some reservations in terms of what this means for our provincial association. The first thing I struggle with is the whole volunteer administration jargon. In 1998, we moved away from that. What we wanted to do was to start to position our profession as volunteer resource management. I think being called volunteer administrators is almost, in my mind, a step backwards, because where I came from, somebody who was administration was my secretary. So I struggle with that. But having said that, I'm all about change, and let's move forward, hoping that PAVRO can have some say in the international, having a discussion about what that is, because a title is everything.
Mhm.
The other thing that I want to talk about is the cost. Now, in the report that was put forward, people were saying that cost was an issue, that they couldn't afford $56.40 Canadian. And now we're saying that it's going to cost you $200 American, which with the exchange rate is 1 million Canadian.
Sorry.
So I struggle with that.
Mhm.
And the last thing I'm going to say is we need to be very careful, I think, as a professional organization, provincial, that we don't move away from the other pillars in inclusion to what you said earlier, Alex, that this is one pillar. But I think when you look at most professions, to be certified to a practice in the province of Ontario, you have to be certified in the province of Ontario, to be a nurse, to be a teacher, to be an OT, PT, social worker, all HR professional. All of them have a provincial body that does certification. So I really urge us not to lose sight of that as we think we're moving forward and being progressive. And we are. I think international is wonderful. But Ontario has done so much for this sector. I would hate to see that we start to look at the international as the be all and the end all when it is not. Now I will shut up.
Thank you for those comments, Magda. And maybe we can have a role in advocating that that the CVA gets rebranded to reflect leadership and not just administration. Is there anybody else who would like to respond to Magda's comments?
My only comment in response is that the organizations that were mentioned, Magna, which are very, very, which I appreciated all of your comments. The organizations you mentioned all have a college who provide that certification, and that perhaps is something that we need to look at as a provincial association. So moving forward, but right now we don't hold a college status to be able to do that, but I very much appreciate you bringing that forward as something that PAVRO as an organization should be investigating for our future to support our future members. So thank you.
Were there any other comments, Heather?
I'm just going through the chat here. So a couple of questions. People commenting on the good points that Magda made. Question around how long is the CCVA certification good for? The CCVA certification is valid for a 5-year period. Recertification is required and there is a cost to recertify. Process very similar to what happens right now for the CVRM. Questions if there have been any consultation with the provincial ministry. We have had recent conversations with the ministry. You may be aware that the current government had scrapped having a dedicated ministry for the volunteer sector. That has been coming back online, and Alex and members of the PAVRO board did meet with a contact a few weeks ago. So those conversations are restarting and will be included as we move forward with this process. The Ministry of Citizenization and Multiculturalism. There is a comment about, yes, we agree that the CCVA fees may be prohibitive to some, and the board again is looking at how we can support that going forward.
Yeah, I think we would definitely be interested in trying to pull together a bursary, especially once the discount period is over.
Yeah. When it comes to not-for-profit and the fees of certification, the fees may not be in with the funding. How does this affect being part of PAVRO? Kelly Gilbert, would you like to unmute yourself and expand on that? Unfortunately, I'm not understanding your question fully. So if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and expanding on that, that would be great.
Sorry, thank you, Heather. So I'm all new to PAVRO.
Yeah.
I'm going to be into a volunteer funding stream and volunteer for our organization. So how does is this like a mandatory certification to be part of PAVRO?
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
No,
Okay.
no. It's just
Okay.
something that we're offering to people.
Okay.
And that we recommend because it is part of advocating for our profession that our professionals have, that professionals in our field have a certain level of knowledge and experience in order to practice. So this designation, it would just be the same as like fundraisers. They have their CFRE, HR professionals have their designation. So it's kind of a standard that you can take to an employer and say, I have this knowledge, I have this experience.
Okay, thank you.
Just in keeping in interest of time, I'm going to respond to Denise Smith's question, and I think we should call for the vote on this. So Denise, your question around what does this mean for those who currently hold their CVRM? The proposal that the next motion we'll be voting on is continuing to have the recertification of the CVRM. And in response to your comment or around the fact that the CVRM is required currently by some employers, that is the next step in this plan should the membership vote in approval. We will be sending out letters to the ministries, to various employers, to the OHA, for example, to advise them of this change and to make them aware that the CVA and the CVRM both mean that the persons that they're hiring or that they currently have on staff are professionals in volunteer engagement. That is part of our marketing and branding plan for once the members speak. I hope that answers your query. Great, thank you. Alex, I think we can call for the vote on this.
Oh, I see. I'm just trying to remember how we watchable. There we go.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry. We're good.
Okay, it's open. It's open.
If you're unable to vote using the poll, please put it in chat.
Wait, I'm just looking at at what we've prepared, and I've noticed that did Dean Black make the motion to accept this motion, or
yes,
she made, and who was this? Oh, Donna was the second. Okay,
Donna Jean Pierre was the seconder. So
yeah,
we're good.
okay, I see it now. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so we'll leave the poll up for a couple of more minutes. I see that 32 people have participated. And Heather, are there any people who voted in the chat?
We have 2 votes in the chat right now. I'm just going down. 3 votes. 3 votes in favor.
Okay.
So it looks like we have 33 plus 3, 30.
I actually have 35 participants here.
Okay.
So, because there's 2
Okay.
abstainers. So I'm going to end the poll now and share results. So what we have here is that 33 people are in favor, 33 plus the 3 that voted.
Plus, it's actually 33 plus 2. I received a message that someone had voted in the chat and on the poll. So
Okay.
33 in the poll, 2 in the chat in favor. Nobody in the chat was abstained and no one in the chat was opposed.
Yeah, no opposition, which is wonderful, but we did have a couple of people abstaining, which is completely acceptable. And thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. This motion has passed. Okay. Okay, so the next motion, the second, somebody just, okay. We are now at 12:30, so and I think the rest of this meeting will go pretty quickly. The second resolution is that we ask our membership to pass, is that we discontinue offering new CVRM certifications as of June 30th, 2022, and continue to offer recertifications only for members wishing to maintain their CVRM designation, as long as we have a certification committee willing to adjudicate the application. So once again, before discussing the motion, I will review the rationale, after which I will ask a member to make the motion and a seconder. And we will then open up the discussion and vote on this using a poll. So this resolution speaks directly to our members' concerns that we grandfather our current CVRM holders. According to the CCVA, we cannot convert CVRMs into CVAs because the process is so different. By allowing recertification, this resolution allows us to honor the tremendous work that has gone into creating and maintaining PAVRO's own certification program, while at the same time providing our currently designated members a choice in what kind of designation they prefer. We're extremely fortunate to have a highly committed certification committee that has agreed to continue supporting CVRM recertifications. The June 30th date allows anyone still interested in pursuing their CVRM one final opportunity to do so. Okay, so now I need someone to make a motion and someone to second it, and then we can discuss.
So Christina Jobst has motioned to move motion number 3. And Charmaine, are you seconding that motion? Yes, so Charmaine Chowdhury's, I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong, has seconded that motion. Thank you, we've got that in the chat.
Wonderful. So again, I open the floor to discussion. Are there questions, concerns about this?
Please pop questions into the chat.
Or unmute.
Or unmute, yeah.
We love hearing from our members because they're so smart. They're amazing.
There is no activity in the chat.
Okay. I think this
Oh.
one's, oh.
Okay, so there's just a comment that it will be important to continue to ask for volunteers to serve on this committee.
Yes.
Very good point, Kim. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, and we will probably need another committee that's kind of focused on supporting the people who want to do the CVA.
Yeah, that's
wonderful. Okay, so what I'm going to do now.
Oh, hold on. We just waited a second here.
Yeah.
So a question is, how likely do you think it will be that the committee will continue to have the capacity to do recertifications?
That's a good question. Is anyone on the committee on this call?
Yes.
Yes, Rachel's here on the
Hi,
call.
Rachel. Would you like to respond to that one?
I would say that we're in a pretty good position for the capacity for recertification. As you would have heard, that we have under 50 current people who are certified with the CVRM. Therefore, depending on if we receive any more before the June 30th date in terms of the last opportunity for certification, we do not see our numbers growing substantially. And each year our numbers are actually diminishing in terms of people continuing with the CVRM recertification. So at this point, we're quite stable in the function that we have at least 4 members on our committee with the ability to manage, I guess you could say, the workload that that comes along with this. I think our concern previously in terms of our membership with the committee was any way of bringing or establishing another kind of type of certification to meet the needs of our membership. They were looking for another avenue, and we were unable to bring certification up to that level that they were looking for. Does that answer your question?
I think
Yes.
so. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel. And I do believe at one of our last meetings, you had one of your members had suggested that perhaps we extend the length of time that the CVRM is valid for to match the 5-year time frame that the CVA is valid. So that might be something that you guys, it'll be up to the committee to make that decision, but that might be a good idea. Okay.
There are no other comments in the chat.
Thank you. So I'm going to launch the next poll. Okay, people are voting. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so we've got 32 who have participated in my poll so far. Are there any in the chat, Heather?
There's one who's voted in favor in the chat.
Okay. I'll just give it another quick minute because it's 34 people who participated.
2 who have voted in favor in the chat, 2 in total.
Okay. Okay. I will launch the poll. I'm just keeping track of the time here. So I'm going to end the poll now because I'm not seeing any more activity, and I'm going to share the results. And so it looks like 29 people in my poll were in favor plus 2, right?
Yeah, so
Heather?
31 in total. Yes.
31 in total in favor. There was 1 opposed and 4 abstaining. Jessica, did you get those numbers?
Yes, she did.
Perfect. So that means that this motion has passed. Thank you very much. Okay. So that pretty much concludes the formal part of our discussion other than the adjournment. So now we get to the ever popular wheel of names, or if there's any other comments that people want to talk about. We are a little bit short on time because we do want to get to our webinar, which is going to be starting in 20 minutes. So I'm going to just share the wheel of names now, unless somebody has something that something burning that they have to get off their chest.
It's Charmaine here, Alexandra. I always have
Yes.
something burning that I have to get
Please
off my
do,
chest.
Charmaine, go for it.
And it's not related to this. I just wanted to share the government's announcement today that all volunteer police checks are free in Ontario. I don't know if
Wow.
people got that news, yeah, but it's fake because it's only the 1 and 2 sector check.
Yeah.
So most
It's not
require
vulnerable
multiple
sectors.
No,
Ah.
and in the legislation, it says hospitals, food banks, implying that all these people can use it. But yeah, so I'm sharing good news and not good news at the same time. And now
Okay, well, it's better than no good news. Better than a kick in the pants, as they say.
it's the step in the right direction.
I agree. Okay, so thank you so much for that. I'm going to stop this share and then share my wheel of, where is, oh dear. Okay, I think I might have too many things. You know what? I think if I just go to, I'm going to share this screen and then I'm just going to, find my wheel of names. Okay, is it sharing now? Are you seeing the wheel of names? Amazing. Okay, click to spin. Woohoo! I love that sound. You guys maybe don't hear the sound because I'm not sure if it's sharing. Rodrigo. Yay, Rodrigo. Is Rodrigo on the call today? It doesn't look like it, eh?
Hi, my name's Shelby. I work with Rodrigo at Marcia Dimes. I don't think he's on the call today, as I'm attending.
Okay, no problem. Well, you can pass on the good news to him and maybe he'll give you the gift card.
He will be super excited.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to stop this share and then let me go to my next screen. Back to my PowerPoint. Okay, so the final slide, because this does wrap up our meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? As well as a seconder.
Denise Hawkins moves to close the meeting, and this is seconded by Rachel Murphy.
Okay, and I'm just gonna, I actually, even created a poll for that. I love these polls. So it's your final vote for the day. That's great. So I've got
Yes, I think the vice chair and the secretary vote to close the meeting too.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
There we go. So everybody is in favor of ending this meeting. I officially call this meeting to a close. And I want to thank you all once again for passing these really, really important resolutions. We will be sending you a link for the member-only CVA info session next month. And we have a tentative date of April 13th at 1 p.m. So for those of you who, oh, I do see one hand that's been raised. Heather? I see Shelby Hemingway. Did you want to unmute?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if I should be telling Rodrigo to reach out to somebody for his prize, or
We'll send him. We'll send it
Okay.
to him by email. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
It'll be
I'll
a
let him
digital-
know.
No worries. Thanks, Shelby. So yeah, so as I said, please bookmark April 13th at 1 p.m. for the CVA info session, and we will record that, and then we can just put it on our webpage. And it is now 12:43, so that's perfect. You guys have a 15-minute break before our next webinar. I hope you've signed up for that. We have apparently 75 people joining us for that, so amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you at our next session. There we go. If the board wants to stay on just a couple of more minutes. Oh, I just see Jessica's background there. That looks great. That's so cool.
Yeah, we did it last year for National Volunteer Week, so it's a good recyclable resource.
That's great. So thank you, everyone. This was great. I think it went really well. We can't really stay too much longer now, just because I know that this Zoom account needs to be used. But thank you, everyone. I'm so pleased about this.
Yeah.
And Heather, I've already written the announcement, so I'm going to send that to you so that Denise can get it right away.
Yep, no, that
So
works.
it's
And
ready
then you and
for-
I can organize that. Thank you very much, Jessica, for the minute taking.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let the folks know that one of the abstentions was Amitabh. So, because he's not a member, he
Yeah.
said he messaged me privately.
Okay,
So-
good.
So in those couple of the ones, minus one member abstentions. So that
Yeah.
one of those was Amitabh. So
Perfect. Okay, great.
Cool.
And then looks like, okay, we could probably stop the recording now.
yep.